Hey, you. Yeah, you. Watching this right now. Stop for a second. Take a deep breath. Feel that? That's your heart beating. That's the sound of a life that's still got fight left in it. You're here because something inside you is stirring. Something's whispering. No, shouting. That you're meant for more. And I'm not here to sugarcoat things or hold your hand. I'm here to shake you awake, to light a fire under you. To remind you that the life you've been dreaming about, it's not some far-off fantasy. It's waiting for you to claim it. But here's the catch. It's gonna take everything you've got. Are you ready to give it? Let me start with a question. What's stopping you? Really think about it. What's that one thing? Or maybe it's 100 things, holding you back from being the person you know you could be. Is it fear? Doubt? That voice in your head that says you're not good enough? Or you'll fail, so why even try? Maybe it's the weight of past mistakes, or the people around you who keep pulling you down. Whatever it is, I want you to hold that thought. Because we're about to face it head on. We're about to tear it apart and rebuild something unstoppable in its place. You see, most people go through life like they're on autopilot. Wake up, scroll, work, eat, sleep, repeat. They're not living, they're existing. And I know you feel it too, don't you? That ache deep in your chest, that quiet scream in the back of your mind that says, this isn't all there is. You're not alone in that. I've felt it. The person next to you has felt it. Every single one of us has moments where we look in the mirror and wonder, how did I get here? And how do I get out? Let me tell you something raw and real, that feeling. It's not a curse, it's a gift. It's your soul telling you it's time to wake up. It's time to fight for the life you were born to live. Let's talk about where you're at right now. Maybe you're stuck in a job that drains you. Maybe you're in a relationship that's more pain than love. Maybe you've got dreams so big they scare you, but every time you try to take a step toward them, something pulls you back. Maybe it's money, or time, or just the overwhelming weight of what if I fail. I get it. Life can feel like a battlefield sometimes. It's messy, it's heavy, and it's easy to feel like you're fighting a losing war. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear this. You're not as stuck as you think you are. That job, that relationship, that fear, they don't own you. You're not a prisoner. You're a warrior who's forgotten how to fight. Let's go deeper. Think about the last time you felt really alive. Not just fine or okay, but alive, like your heart was on fire. Like you could take on the world. Maybe it was a moment of triumph, like crossing a finish line or nailing a presentation. Maybe it was something small, like laughing so hard with a friend you forgot your worries. Can you picture it? Hold on to that feeling. That's the version of you that's still in there, buried under the stress, the doubt, the noise of the world. That's the version of you we're going to bring back to life today. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not that simple. You don't know my life. You don't know my struggle. And you're right. I don't know your exact story, but I know what it's like to feel lost. I know what it's like to wake up every day and feel like you're carrying a weight you can't put down. I know what it's like to look at your dreams and think, maybe they're not for me. Maybe I'm not enough. But here's the first mindset shift we're going to make today. You are enough. Right now, exactly as you are, with all your flaws, all your scars, all your doubts, you are enough. And not in some fluffy feel-good way. I mean, you are enough to start, enough to try, enough to take the first step toward the life you want. Let's talk about fear for a minute, because that's the big one, isn't it? Fear is like this invisible chain that keeps us locked in place. It's the voice that says, don't quit your job, you'll never make it on your own. Or don't chase that dream. What if you fall flat on your face? Fear loves to dress up as logic. It sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? I'm just being practical. I'm just protecting myself. But let me ask you this. What's fear protecting you from? Growth? Success? Happiness? The truth is, fear isn't protecting you, it's paralyzing you. It's keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you from the life you were meant to live. There's a quote by Marianne Williamson that hits this nail on the head. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Think about that for a second. What if the thing you're most afraid of isn't failing, but succeeding? What if you're scared of what it would mean to actually step into your power, to actually become the person you've always dreamed of being? Because that's when things get real. That's when you have to show up, take risks, and face the world head on. And that's scary. But you know what's scarier? Staying exactly where you are, letting fear win, letting your potential die inside you. So here's the first big mindset shift. Fear is not your enemy, it's your signal, it's your compass. Every time you feel that knot in your stomach, that racing heart, that voice screaming, that's your cue that you're standing at the edge of something important. something life-changing. Fear doesn't mean stop, it means go. It means you're on the verge of breaking through to a new version of yourself. And yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be uncomfortable. But on the other side of that fear is everything you've ever wanted. Let's talk about pain for a moment. Because pain is another thing we all share. You've felt it, haven't you? The sting of rejection, the weight of failure, the ache of a dream that feels out of reach. Pain is universal. It doesn't care how old you are, where you're from, or what you've been through. It shows up, uninvited, and it doesn't leave until it's taught you something. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think pain is a sign to give up. They think it's a signal that they're not cut out for this, that they're not strong enough. But pain isn't your enemy either. Pain is your teacher. Think about the toughest moments in your life, the times when you thought you couldn't go on. Maybe it was a heartbreak that left you shattered. Maybe it was a failure that made you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. But you're still here, aren't you? You're still standing. That's not an accident. That's proof that you're stronger than you realize. Every scar you carry is a badge of survival. Every tear you've shed is a reminder that you've got fight in you. Pain doesn't break you, it builds you. It carves out the weak parts and leaves behind something tougher, something unbreakable. Here's another mindset shift. Stop running from pain. Stop numbing it with distractions, scrolling, binge watching. Whatever your vice is, instead lean into it. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? Because every ounce of pain carries a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's showing you what you don't want in your life anymore. Maybe it's waking you up to the fact that you've been settling for less than you deserve. Whatever it is, pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Now let's talk about the stories we tell ourselves. Because those stories shape everything. You've got a narrative running in your head right now. Whether you realize it or not, it's the story of who you are, what you're capable of, and what your life can be. And for too many of us, that story is one of limitation. I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I don't have the time, the money, the connections. Sound familiar? Those are the lies fear tells you. And the longer you believe them, the longer you stay. But what if you rewrote that story? What if instead of saying, I can't, you said I'm learning? Instead of I'm not enough, you said I'm growing. Instead of it's too late, you said it's my time. You have the power to change the narrative. You are the author of your life. And the moment you start telling yourself a new story, a story of possibility, of courage, of relentless determination, that's when everything starts to shift. Let me share a quick story with you. A few years ago, I was stuck in a job I hated, surrounded by people who didn't believe in me, and drowning in self-doubt. I'd wake up every morning with this pit in my stomach, wondering if this was all life had for me. But one day, I hit a breaking point. I was sitting in my car staring at the steering wheel, and I just thought, this can't be it. I can't keep living like this. And in that moment, I made a decision, not a big dramatic one, just a small one. I decided to start believing in myself. Even when no one else, I decided to stop waiting for permission and start taking action. Even if it was messy, even if it was scary, that decision changed everything. It didn't happen overnight. There were days I wanted to quit, days I felt like I was failing, days I wondered if I'd made a mistake. But every time I took a step forward, no matter how small, I got a little stronger, a little braver, and slowly the life I'd been dreaming about started to take shape. Not because I was special or lucky, or had it all figured out, because I decided to show up for myself. And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. Show up for yourself. Believe in yourself, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Here's another quote to carry with you. From Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. Think about that. Every dream you have, every goal you're chasing, it's gonna feel impossible at first. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're on the right track. The things worth having in life are never easy. They're not supposed to be. If they were, everyone would have them. But you're not everyone. You're you, and you've got something inside you that the world needs. Something only you can bring. So where do we go from here? We've talked about fear, pain, and the stories we tell ourselves. Now it's time to start building, to start turning that spark inside you into a flame. The first step is to get clear, crystal clear on what you want. Not what your parents want, or your friends, or society. What do you want? What's the life you'd live if fear wasn't holding the reins? If money wasn't an issue? If failure wasn't a possibility? Close your eyes for a second and picture it. Picture the version of you who's living that life. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What's different about them? Now hold that vision. That's your North Star. That's what you're fighting for. And every day you're gonna take one step. Doesn't have to be a big one. just one step toward that vision. Maybe it's signing up for a class to learn a new skill. Maybe it's having a hard conversation with someone who's been holding you back. Maybe it's just getting out of bed and telling yourself, today, I'm choosing me. Whatever it is, commit to it. Because every step you take is a declaration to the universe that you're serious, that you're done playing small, that you're ready to become who you were always meant to be. But let's be real, none of this is easy. Change is messy, it's uncomfortable. There will be days when you feel like you're climbing a mountain with no end in sight. And that's okay. That's part of the journey. The key is to keep going. Even when it feels impossible. Even when you're tired. Even when you're scared. Because the moment you stop, the moment you give in to the doubt or the fatigue, that's when you lose. Not because you're not capable, but because you stopped believing you were. Here's the final mindset shift for this phase. Progress, not perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be flawless. You just have to keep moving forward. Every mistake, every stumble, every moment you feel like giving up, that's not failure, that's growth. That's you getting stronger, wiser, closer to the life you want. So give yourself permission to mess up. Give yourself permission to be human, but never ever give yourself permission to quit. We're just getting started, my friend. This is the spark, the beginning of something bigger than you can imagine right now. But it's up to you to fan that spark into a flame, to take that first step, and then the next, and the next. Because the life you want, it's not out of reach. It's waiting for you to show up and claim it. So what are you waiting for? Let's do this together. All right, we're in this now. You felt that spark in the first part, didn't you? That little flicker of maybe I can do this. That's not just a feeling, that's power. That's potential waking up inside you. But a spark alone won't change your life. It's time to turn that spark into a fire that burns through doubt, through excuses, through every single thing that's been holding you back. This isn't about just dreaming anymore. This is about becoming the person who doesn't just want more, but goes out and takes it. So let's dive in, my friend. Let's fuel that fire and make it roar. Let's start with a truth that hits hard. Nothing changes until you do. You can dream all day, make vision boards, write down goals, but if you're not moving, you're not growing. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care about your someday plans. It responds to action, to courage, to the person who says, I'm done waiting, and starts running toward their dreams, even if they're stumbling, even if they're scared. So let me ask you, when was the last time you took a real bold step toward what you want? Not a half step, not a I'll try tomorrow step, but a this is happening now kind of step. I know, it's not that simple. Life's messy. You've got bills to pay, responsibilities piling up, people counting on you. Maybe you're thinking, I don't have time to chase dreams. Or maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe you're scared that if you try, you'll fail, that you'll put it all out there and it won't be enough. Can I be real with you? That fear, it's universal. Every single person who's ever done anything worth doing has felt it. The difference between them and the people still stuck. They moved anyway. They felt the fear and said, you don't get to drive. Let's talk about action, because that's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Action is messy. It's not always pretty or perfect. It's not like the movies where everything falls into place with a dramatic soundtrack. Sometimes action looks like waking up 30 minutes earlier to work on your side hustle. Sometimes it's saying no to a toxic relationship, even when it hurts. Sometimes it's just choosing to believe in yourself for one more day, even when the world's screaming at you to give up. But every single action, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of the life you're building. Here's a mindset shift to carry with you. Every action counts, every single one. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to quit your job, move across the country, or have it all figured out. Start small, but start now. Want to get healthier? Take a walk today. Want to start a business? Write down one idea. Want to rebuild your confidence? Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm worth it. Those small actions, they stack. They build momentum, and momentum is what turns a spark into a wildfire. Let's get real about excuses for a second, because we all have them. I don't have enough money. I'll start when the timing's right. Sound familiar? Excuses are like quicksand. They feel safe at first, but the longer you stand in them, the deeper you sink. And the worst part, they're lies we tell ourselves. They're stories we create to avoid the hard stuff. But here's the truth. There's never a perfect time. There's never going to be a moment when the stars align and everything feels easy. The perfect time is now. The perfect moment is the one you create by choosing to act. Think about someone you admire. Maybe it's an athlete, an entrepreneur, or even a friend who's killing it in life. What do they have that you don't? I'll tell you, nothing. They're not smarter, luckier, or more talented than you. The difference is they decided to act. They decided to stop waiting for permission, for the right moment, for someone to hand them the keys to their dreams. They took responsibility for their own path. And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. Take ownership. Stop waiting for the world to give you a green light. You are the green light. Let's talk about confidence, because that's the fuel for action. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, and you don't build it by sitting on the sidelines, waiting to feel ready. You build it by doing the thing you're scared of, by failing and getting back up, by showing up, even when your knees are shaking. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And every time you take action, no matter how small, you're flexing that muscle. You're proving to yourself that you're capable. Here's a story to drive this home. A few years back, I knew someone who wanted to start their own business. They had this incredible idea, but they were paralyzed by doubt. What if I fail? What if no one buys? What if I'm not good enough? For months, they talked about it, planned, dreamed, but didn't act. Until one day, they hit a breaking point. They were tired of living in what if. So they took one tiny step. They posted about their idea online. Just a simple post, nothing fancy. And you know what happened? People responded. They got feedback, encouragement, even a few customers. That one small action snowballed into a thriving business, not because they were fearless, but because they chose to act despite the fear. That's the secret. You don't need to feel confident to start. You just need to start to feel confident. Take the leap, even if it's a baby leap. Write that email, make that call, sign up for that course. Every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. And the more votes you cast, the more that person comes to life. Now let's talk about the people around you, because they matter more than you might think. You ever notice how some people light you up, make you feel like you can do anything, while others just drain you? Your environment is everything. The people you surround yourself with are either fueling your fire or pouring water on it. And I'm not just talking about friends or family. I mean the content you consume, the conversations you have, the energy you let into your space. If you're surrounded by negativity, by people who doubt you or belittle your dreams, it's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of bricks. Here's a challenge for you. Take a hard look at your circle. Who's in your corner? Who's cheering you on, pushing you to be better? And who's holding you back, even if they don't mean to? Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who keep us stuck. Not because they're bad people, but because they're comfortable with the version of you that's not growing. You don't have to cut everyone out of your life, but you do need to protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who make you want to be better. And if you don't have those people yet, go find them. Join a community, find a mentor, consume content that lifts you up. Your environment is either your rocket fuel or your anchor. Choose wisely. Let's shift gears and talk about courage, because that's what this all comes down to. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward anyway. It's looking at that mountain in front of you and saying, I'm climbing it, even if I fall. It's raising your hand, speaking your truth, chasing your dream, even when your voice. Courage is what separates the dreamers from the doers. And you, my friend, are a doer. You wouldn't be here listening to this if you weren't. There's a quote by Maya Angelou that sums this up perfectly. Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage you can't practice any other virtue consistently. Think about that. You can have all the talent, all the ideas, all the plans in the world, but without courage, they're just wishes. Courage is what turns your what if into watch me. It's what takes you from stuck to unstoppable. And the beautiful thing about courage, you don't need a lot of it to start. You just need enough to take the first step, and then the next, and then the next. So what's one thing you can do today to be courageous? Maybe it's having that tough conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's signing up for that thing you've been too scared to try. Maybe it's just admitting to yourself what you really want, no matter how big or impossible it seems. Whatever it is, do it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just take the step, because every time you choose courage over comfort, you're rewriting your story. You're telling the world and yourself that you're not here to play small. Now let's talk about persistence, because courage alone won't get you there. Life is going to test you. It's going to throw obstacles in your path. Big ones, small ones, ones that make you want to scream. Why? But here's the deal. Those obstacles aren't there to stop you. They're there to strengthen you. Every setback, every rejection, every moment you feel like giving up, that's your training ground. That's where you build the resilience to keep going, no matter what. Think about the most successful people you know. They didn't get there because they never failed. They got there because they failed and kept going. They fell and got back up. They heard no and kept asking. Persistence is what turns dreams into reality. It's not glamour. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's just showing up day after day, doing the work even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged. But that's where the magic happens. That's where you become unstoppable. Here's a practical tip to stay persistent. Break your goals into tiny, bite-sized pieces. If your dream feels too big, it can be paralyzing, so shrink it down. Want to write a book? Start with 1 page. Want to run a marathon? Start with a mile. Want to change your life? Start with one small action today, and then do it again tomorrow, and the next day. Consistency beats intensity every time. It's not about how hard you go in one moment. It's about how many times you show up. Let's wrap this phase with one final thought. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the voice in your head that says you can't. You are the sum of every choice you make from this moment forward. Every action, every act of courage, every time you choose to keep going, you're building the person you're meant to be. And they're powerful, they're capable, they're unstoppable. So don't let fear, doubt, or yesterday's failures hold you back. You're not here to stay stuck. You're here to rise. This fire we're building, it's just getting started. You've got the spark. You've got the fuel. Now it's time to let it burn. Keep showing up. Keep taking action. Keep choosing courage, because the life you want is waiting on the other side of your next step.